Good evening. Welcome to Kickoff here on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink. I'm alongside the former Newcastle and Palace midfielder, Darren Ambrose. Well, domestic football is well and truly back. How good does that feel? The return of the EFL across the talkSPORT network. Today, Huddersfield kick off their bid for promotion with a 3-0 win over Leyton Orient. They are top of the league. Wycombe are beaten by newly promoted Bradford City, and Cardiff beat Peterborough in the early kickoff. Sorry, Adrian Durham. We want to hear from you. If you're on your way home from a game, just tuned in on the radio, whatever it is, give us a call on 0371722 3344. Let us know your thoughts. We know you've missed your gloating, you've missed your ranting. We're here for all of that and everything in between. We will, of course, though, be talking about the saga of the summer. Liverpool aren't putting forward another bid for Alexander Isak as it stands. He's returned to Newcastle for training, and that's all while Newcastle looks set to sign his replacement in Benjamin Cesco. As a Newcastle fan, my head is on Mars. Where does this story go next? And Newcastle fans, do you want to see him back in a black and white shirt, having seen how it's played about the entire summer? And with Son on his way out of Spurs, where does he rank among the best Premier League wingers of all time? All of that plus Mr. Ambrose will give us his Premier League predictions for the season. So get involved on 03717 223344. This is Kickoff on talkSPORT. Darren Ambrose, how you doing?
Stop like that.
Yeah, just planned it perfectly, mate. That's what happened.
Brilliant. Yeah, really good. How are you?
Yeah, really, really good.
I always find this part of the show awkward because we've been together for like the last hour and a half, and then we're like, "How are you?" Yeah, we're good. How are you? Like,
yeah,
we've already done that upstairs.
Yeah, you're just finding this awkward then.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward.
Yeah. Just
ages.
Just want to know how you are since I saw you about an hour ago, mate.
It's been ages, though. It's been ages since we've been on air.
It has indeed. A lot has happened in the summer transfer window. But how pleased are you that domestic football's back?
You know what? Football doesn't even feel like it's stopped, to be honest, in terms of football. I think I covered the Euro under-21s throughout the summer. We've had the Club World Cup, the Women's Euros. It just doesn't feel like it's stopped. But having domestic football back, there's nothing beats that, does it? Obviously, we've got the Championship coming up next week and then the Premier League in a couple of weeks. I was at Luton last night in League One to kick-start it all off. Wasn't a great advert for League One. Like I was saying, well, maybe this is just pre-season still, but no, it's brilliant to be back, and obviously it's all kicked off today. There's some highs and lows, optimism before the season starts, and that sometimes goes out the window in 5 minutes. Well,
it's been a good start, hasn't it, for all of those clubs who want to be in the mix for promotion. We've seen a big win for Lee Grant's Huddersfield Town today, who have pulled the Alfie May trigger as well, and he was on target today in a 3-0 win over Leyton Orient, but a big win for Luton, a big win in the early kickoff as well for Cardiff City. So all of those sides that we kind of fancied right at the start of this campaign, getting off to winning starts. But it actually feels to me, strangely, like that win for Luton might be the most important, because as much as Luton are a side that, you know, have suffered back-to-back relegations, they were a Premier League side very, very recently, they have been losing games constantly. And so to kick off that season with a victory, you know, you've been in plenty of dressing rooms. Just how important do you think that would have been for the Luton players?
Absolutely massive. We was there yesterday, myself, Nigel Adderley and Hugh Wozencroft, and we were speaking about exactly that. 19 out of the 84 league games that they've won, they've lost the rest. And they've only won, 19 out of the 84 league games prior to this season. That's not great, and it's changing that mentality. It's getting the winning mentality back. It's not easy when you drop from the Championship to League One to go back up. I think only 5 of the last 21 teams have been promoted first time after they've been relegated. So that's really difficult because you're struggling mentally. They've lost a couple of players. Colton Morris obviously went. Thomas Kaminski went to Charlton. Tello Asgard had gone to Rangers, who I thought was really talented last season. I was really impressed with him. I was impressed with Josh Keeley, the goalie from Spurs. He's come in, had an absolute whack of a goal kick, by the way. I think the first 10 minutes they were playing, that was their tactic. They were standing there, Christ Mokosso in the 6-yard box, playing it back to Josh Keeley on a goal kick, and he was booming it upfield. And it was a strange tactic to see, but they got the win. It wasn't, as I said, it wasn't a great advert for football, and it was Corley Woodrow come on in the last 10-15 minutes, and it was just that quality AFC Wimbledon didn't concede a lot of goals last season in League Two, but they're coming up against a little bit better quality forwards. And Cauley Woodrow made a great run. Naki Wells had dropped deep, played a great ball over the top. And I felt for the defender, Ryan Johnson, put it in his own net in the 85th, 86th minute. They didn't deserve that, AFC Wimbledon. A point would have been sufficient, but a win's a win. And Matt Bloomfield walks off with 3 points.
Yeah, and that feels really big for him, doesn't it? By the way, we've had a text through already on 81089. Warren is a Tranmere fan. He says, football back is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then he says, we need signings up front. We need Ossale to go through fast, Palios out. He's kicked off the season in style there. 1-1 draw today for Tranmere away at Colchester United. It's interesting what you just said there about the goalkeeper having a huge kick, Darren, because I think there's been a lot of conversation heading into this season, especially down in League 1 and 2, about the style of football. For a lot of these clubs, I think I saw Lyle Taylor talking about it and saying that, Pep Guardiola
I remember that.
Has ruined football. And actually, we had our eyes, didn't we, a bit earlier on Barnet against Fleetwood Town. And the Barnet goalkeeper, for the first goal for Fleetwood, essentially gave the ball away to the striker just outside his box. The easiest goal that this Fleetwood striker is ever going to score.
Yep.
And immediately you're just thinking, well, come on, what are you doing? What are your thoughts on this? If you're down in League 1, down in League 2, should we go back to a more traditional style of football?
I think so. I think it should be a plan A and plan B. Look, of course, you want to play out from the back. If you've got the players to do it, if you feel you're confident and got the quality to do it, you have to try, because that's what your game plan is. But on the flip side, for me, I'd like to see my goalkeeper first 5 times maybe kick it long. That creates the space. We're seeing teams, as you said, play it short in the first time they get the ball, and that creates pressure. That invites pressure, and sometimes you get nervous. And they're not Premier League players. They're not Championship players. They're League 1, they're League 2. The decisions are a millimetre slower than the Premier League players, and that it invites pressure. But I'd never seen this tactic. The first time Josh Keeley got the ball, it was out of his hands, and he kicked it from his own box to the other box, and it bounced off for a goal kick.
Shoot!
It was incredible. But his positioning, I was really impressed with. I really was. But he could concede from the halfway line. Honestly, if he concedes this season from the halfway line, I'd say, it's about right, because he is 25, 30 yards off his goal line at all times. But I'd never seen that tactic, and I think, to a certain degree, you have to play that way. If you're away from home, get the opposition defenders facing your own goal. Gives them something to think about. Get the crowd on their backs a little bit, as opposed to inviting pressure. Because, as you rightly said, you concede easy goals, and forwards read that nowadays. The clever thinking, smart forwards read that. You play cat and mouse a little bit. You look like you're not interested. You know they're going to play out, and you get in and you get your goal.
03717 22 if you're heading back from one of the games today, if you just want to have your say on your team after the first games of the season in Leagues 1 and 2. I'm just going to run through some of the big stories from today. We mentioned that result for Cardiff City coming from behind to beat Peterborough in the early kickoff. Not a great day for Steve Bruce and Blackpool. Steve Bruce saying that Blackpool's pre-season was very frustrating, and they've kicked off with a 3-2 loss at home to Stevenage. A big win for Bradford as well, Darren, who have obviously come up into the league, but they were taking on Wycombe Wanderers, who were playoff semi-finalists last season. Bradford with a 2-1 win in that game, so a great start to the season for them. Big win for Donny as well. They managed to beat Exeter City 1-0. Could be a long season, I think, for Exeter with the way it's looking. Could also be quite a long season for Kevin Nolan and Northampton. They lost 3-1 at Wigan today as well. So I think what we've seen so far with the results is actually, plenty of them revert to type. I think those big teams at the top that we've been expecting to do well have managed to get off to a winning start, and those teams that could struggle haven't. Plymouth losing 3-1 as well to Barnsley. I think, a shame for Plymouth fans. Their manager left as well in the summer. And down in League 2, MK Dons. This was the game that Adrian Durham was at too. I mean, they finished 19th last season, MK Dons, but it's been a big old summer of change. But Adrian mentioned the fact that I think they've scored 1 in 8 games, MK Dons. When you were a player, Darren, you were heading into one of those new seasons, was it a case of forgetting about last season and forgetting about maybe the run you had at the end of last season, and it's all afresh and it all starts from now? Or were there hangovers, did you find sometimes, from the form you had at the latter end of a campaign?
I mean, it depends how much changes you make throughout the off season. If you make a lot of changes, yes, of course you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel the pressure coming into a team like that, because there's gonna be people there with that mentality, and it is pre-season is first and foremost about getting your minutes, staying fit, staying injury free. The last couple of games is getting your tactics right, being tactically aware how you're going to approach games, but it's also changing the mentality of the previous season. I've been there. I've been relegated with a side, and you feel the heartbeat of the club ripped out and you feel it's your own fault as a player because you haven't done your jobs and you've lost good people in around the football club, and that has an effect for a good number of weeks. More so for the people that have lost their jobs. We're players, the contracts are secure, and that's in a way that's not right in terms that, yes, you get reductions, but you have to change that mentality and try and bring success back to the football club. And sometimes that can take a good number of games, good number of weeks to do that. If, like Luton, back-to-back relegations, a lot of those might be in the back of their mind thinking, we don't want 3. I think the last one was Sunderland, maybe. It was 7 years ago, I think, that got 3 back-to-back. You don't want that. But you get off to a winning start. You got 2 away games now, I think, Luton. They win one of those. That mentality changes, and then you're looking like we could get promoted here, and it's that quick to change it. You just need to change the mentality as quick as possible.
03717 722 3344. Dan is a Barnsley fan. Dan, an opening day win away at Plymouth today. You must be buzzing that football's back.
Well, I tell you what, we look forward to football for all this time. And why have I looked forward to that stress and anguish on a Saturday afternoon? It's crazy what he does to you. Absolutely surreal. Yeah, wild game. And if I'm honest, I'll say this to Plymouth Argyle fans now. The referee, you got done over a handful of times with said ref.
Really? Because obviously there was the red card for Barnsley themselves, but you're saying it was actually the other way round.
Yeah, they evened it out a little bit with that, but Jack Shepherd, he really shouldn't have been sent off. He got a yellow card because there were a bit of a fracas in first half towards end of half, and he got a yellow card then, and then he got booked a second time for a very soft handball. It was handball, it was a free kick for Plymouth, but the ref sort of booked him and then walked away. It looked like he'd forgotten he'd booked him in the first half, and then thought, oh, whoops, I need to now send this guy off for a really, really soft thing that's just happened. It was so surreal, absolutely bizarre.
Dan, how did you play though? What was your tactics like? Was it a similar tactic approach to the last season, or was it totally different?
Oh God, no. Conor Hourahan's in charge now, and it's miles better. New formation, holding the ball very well in the middle of the pitch in the first half. Granted, not doing a great deal with the ball, but it looked very, very good. Midfield, passing play, the tackles, possession. It was really good. Really, really good.
I heard David McGoldrick convince Conor Hourihane to sign him at a wedding event. How did he play today?
David McGoldrick was cool. He were a good player. You could tell he's a bit, without disrespect to the guy, because he's obviously significantly better at football than what I am, but it was quite sluggish in places, but you could tell that when he gets hold of the ball, he's looking for shots. He's looking for things to do.
I tell you right now, he will come good for you, 100%. He'll be a match winner for you for sure. He's a fantastic player at this level as well.
You're feeling optimistic then, Dan, about the season, do you think?
After that game, yes. A lot of Barnsley fans were sort of saying, we're going to be mid-table, anywhere between, we'll be lucky if we get playoffs. But after that game, playing the relegated side in Plymouth, it gives us hope. It gives us that maybe Conor knows what he's doing. I mean, it's an unproven manager, of course, Barnsley's first managerial job, but I mean, Conor Hourahan's a Barnsley legend, so it's one of those when he was appointed manager, your head saying, ooh, this guy's never managed before, but your heart says, oh, wow, Conor Hourahan's in charge, this is amazing. So, and I'm very much a heart person, so when you were saying, this is like my boyhood dream.
How long's the trip back then, Dan, from Plymouth?
Oh, well, I've got to be honest. I did watch it on Sky.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Don't blame you.
Don't blame me. Yeah, it's a happy trip back, isn't it, for some of those Barnsley fans? Yeah. Dan, thanks very much indeed. 03717 22 33 44. It's also the opening day today of the Scottish Premiership season, and there's been a goal in the game at Motherwell. David Tanner is watching for talkSPORT.
15 minutes gone, Motherwell 0, Rangers 1. New manager but old goal scorer James Tavernier scores at the start of his 11th season as a Rangers player. It came from a Joe Rothwell corner kick, and Tavernier met it unmarked with a header from the edge of the 6-yard box. Motherwell 0, Rangers 1.
03717 22 33 44. Get your calls in now. You might be travelling back from a game in Leagues 1 or 2. If you want to have your say on your team, whether they've won today, whether you want to have a bit of a rant, whether you're feeling a bit worried about this season, we will take your call here on talkSPORT. It's me, Olly Clink, alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren Ambrose. It's Kickoff on talkSPORT. Didn't even get to ask you, Darren Ambrose. Good summer. What you been up to? You've been out and about a bit, have you?
Not really, no. Just enjoying life, Ollie, as you should.
Not really been out.
Not really been out. I've been, of course, in the nice weather. I've been to the local establishments.
Good stuff, mate.
With the family. So
That's all you
it's
need.
been good. That's all you need. So I'm so tanned.
Love that. By the way, just want to keep you across a game going on in League 2. There was a delayed kick-off in the game between Newport County and Notts County. It's 1-1. That game was delayed because of a medical emergency. They're just entering the final few minutes there. It's 1-1 between Newport County and Notts County. This is kick-off here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink, alongside Darren, Ambrose. Domestic football is back. We are looking back on the games today in Leagues 1 and 2. Some big results at the top of League 1 for those teams that are going to be battling for promotion. Hayden is a Lincoln fan. Hayden, a win today for you. You must be buzzing that football's back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hi, lads, by the way. I'm thrilled it's back, and it's a performance that I didn't expect. As Lincoln fans, we're not very optimistic about the season due to the lack of ins in the transfer window. We have plenty of outs. We sold plenty of players. There hadn't many in, so to get a result today and a performance to match, it's really good.
Hayden, the stats suggest that Reading had the majority of the ball. Did it look that way when you was there? How did it feel in the stadium?
Oh, first half it was all Lincoln, second half it was all Reading, but they didn't really do much with the ball. But you've got to give credit to the Lincoln defence for that they couldn't do anything with it, and then we scored a great counter-attacking goal, and from then Reading looked down and out, really.
Yeah.
So it was good for the players.
What are your expectations for this season then, Hayden? You mentioned you're not too happy with some of the business, but after a positive start, where do you think you end up?
Well, I mean, if we push the playoffs like we have done the past few seasons, where we've just narrowly missed out, it's a good season. I think anything top half is good. She played that at the start of the season. It's becoming a bit like Groundhog Day season. We get really well, really to start the season, get to Christmas and lose about 5-6 on the bounce, injuries, etc. So I can't predict. I've been here too long. I've been a season ticket holder since 2011, and it's the same every season. We get to Christmas and just forget how to play football. So, from the forwards I've seen today, it's good enough. Absolutely good enough.
Yeah. Hey, just quickly, I mean, how good does it feel, that feeling once again of just getting 3 points, especially on the first day of the season?
Well, it's 3 points, a clean sheet against the side that have, took our best player off as they signed Paddy O'Connor early in the transfer window, our captain last season. And signed Paddy Lane yesterday, who had a bit of a tough spot with Lincoln. But, to get a 2-0 win at home, clean sheet, is probably the perfect start.
Nearly a full house as well, wasn't it, today?
Yeah. I mean, Reading did bring 1,600, but at the same time, couldn't hear them because we were just too loud. So.
Lovely stuff, Hayden. Great call, mate. 03717 22 33 44. It's that feeling, isn't it? First day of the season, 3 points in the bag. Nothing beats it.
It's so different being a supporter now that I am as opposed to a player, because of course you go into the season with a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of anxiety, thinking how are we going to do, particularly if you've had a promotion or a relegation or a good season, bad season the year before. But as a supporter, the optimism you have before the season starts, even if you have a bad pre-season, you don't get any wins, you look, oh, we got this player, we got that player, new signing here, new signing there, we're going to do this, we're going to win the league. Very rarely do you see a supporter say, oh, we're going to struggle this year, like we're going to be down the bottom of the league, because everyone's so optimistic. Yeah. And I said before when we started the show that can change after a minute in the game. You go a goal down and you're like, oh, here we go again.
We're back.
It's a lot worse being a supporter than a player, I tell you right now.
Big time. Right, let's get an update from the third day of the fifth test between England and India at the Oval. Watching for talkSPORT is Georgie Heath.
Yeah, so England finally managed to dismiss India all out for 396, which means that the target for England to win this game and win the series 3-1 is 374 runs. They've obviously got 2 and a bit days in which to do it, because we're only just coming towards the end of day 3. But it's about, can they get it done? Can the batters stay out there? And can they take on these Indian bowlers who are without Jasprit Bumrah, which is always an upside as an opponent batter, but you just never know. India, they showed some real resilience, and England, well, they put down chances, put down 6 catches along the way. So India, they are leading England by 373. So that target for England, 374 runs to win and take the series outright.
Cool, that is a mammoth total for England to try and get. But we know what this team is like. They don't draw games, so we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of days on talkSPORT. We'll keep you across that, of course. Now, domestic football, of course, is well and truly back following the return of the EFL across the talkSPORT network. We want to hear from you if you're on your way home from a game. 03717 22 Let's hear from Huddersfield Town manager Lee Grant, who's been speaking to talkSPORT's Natalie Pike after his side's opening day win against Leyton Orient.
So many new players, 12 players joined your squad this summer, 8 debutants today. You're saying there that you weren't so totally happy in the first half. Is that almost ominous then for the rest of the league if you can win 3-0 against a good side with all the new players still getting to know each other?
I wouldn't say so, no. I'd be much more measured in that we know, certainly within our changing room, that there are areas that we'd want to do better. And we know that it's really, really early in the season. So, of course, Leyton Orient very much the same. Lots of debuts, still working things out. So, as a group, we won't read a lot into this and we'll analyse the bits that we know we can do better. In terms of result, we'll try to be calm about it and our job is to try and be better next week.
There we go, Lee Grant, a 3-0 win for Huddersfield.
I love that appointment of Lee Grant, by the way. I really do. It's brave from Huddersfield. He was coach at Ipswich and then he's come straight into a management of a top club, by the way, who's going to have pressure to get promoted. The decision is fantastic. And look, what a start for them. 3-0 already. Look, I'm really pleased for him. Really.
Yeah, 3-0 win over Leyton Orient for Lee Grant. And like Darren says, looking like a good appointment so far. Only one game in, of course. So let's get back to the opening day in the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell are taking on Rangers. Watching for talkSPORT, David Tanner.
And it's Motherwell 0, Rangers 1 after 27 minutes. James Tavernier's 14th minute goal separating the sides. Motherwell could have equalised. There was a shot spilled by Jack Butland, reminiscent of his mistakes from last season, but he got up well to stop an Apostolos Stamatopoulos rebound for Motherwell. It's Motherwell 0, Rangers 1.
Keep the calls coming in. The first day of the EFL season in Leagues 1 and 2. You might be coming back from a game. We want to hear from you. 03717 22 We'll also be chatting about the Alexander Isak saga in just a moment here on talkSPORT. Good evening. This is Kick-Off here on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink. I'm alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren Ambrose. We are taking your calls on the return of the EFL. Leagues 1 and 2 got underway today. 03717 223344 if there's something that you want to get off your chest. You want to have a rant about your team as well. We want to hear from you, but if they've won today, that sweet, sweet feeling of 3 points, and you want to give us a call, then get involved. Right now, though, there's been yet another twist in the transfer saga of the summer.
Lofted forward into the edge of the box, flicked on dangerously. Isak! 1-0. Smash and grab from Newcastle to a certain extent.
He's got them to win silverware. He's lifted them to new heights with all his goals.
And they beat Liverpool to do that.
and he's scoring goals. So he's helped them as much as Newcastle have helped him. So Newcastle shouldn't feel betrayed.
Murphy with a header. Down to Isak. Boom, it's a second goal. It's another goal for Newcastle United. It's converted from 10 yards out by Alexander Isak.
Liverpool have decided, as it stands, not to bid again. Now, I want to be really clear. Not bidding now versus pulling out are two different things.
Now, we don't throw the word saga around lightly, do we, on talkSPORT?
No, absolutely
never
not.
do.
Absolutely
Never do.
not.
We don't deal in rumours either, of course. But this is definitely a saga now. It's been the saga, I think, of the summer. It's been very emotional for me as a Newcastle fan.
I was going to say that. Are you sure you want to talk about this?
It's been a roller coaster, mate. Apparently we have to.
Yeah.
No, but we should bring people up to date on it because there's been some movements today. Now, Liverpool will reportedly not be back in for Alexander Isak as it stands after their first bid for him was rejected by Newcastle. It was around £110 million. Today, Eddie Howe's side have submitted a deal worth €80 million for RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Cesco. He was linked with Arsenal throughout the summer. He's also still linked with Manchester United, and it's thought at the moment that it's essentially Cesco's choice whether he wants to join Newcastle or join Manchester United.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a moment.
Yep.
But Alexander Isak, throughout this time, he didn't go on the pre-season tour. He then went to train on his own at his old club, Real Sociedad. Wasn't any part of Newcastle's pre-season. He's now back at training, or on his way back to start training with them again. The first question I've got for you, Darren, from a player's perspective, what do you make of what Alexander Isak has done in these circumstances?
Well, it doesn't look good, does it? But we have to be careful in terms of what we know and what we don't know. We don't know what's been said behind closed doors. We don't know if in agreement with this potential thigh injury that he was supposed to have had. We don't know if that was what they allowed him to go away and then train at Real Sociedad on his own. It was on his own, bear in mind, so he had his own people at the training ground. So it's just an area that he was allowed to use. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, can I be cynical? I mean, I know even if he's got an injury, mate, they're going on this pre-season tour.
Yeah. You'd expect him to go.
Yeah, come on. It's to make sure that the club grows in terms of its fan base, etc., and they're not taking their start.
But this is what I'm saying in terms of what we don't know. So we have to be careful in what we report on. We can only report on what we can see in the public domain, which is what we are trying to do. If it's been said that he can go back to Real Sociedad, fair enough. But are we ever going to find that out?
Well,
Probably not.
Eddie Howe said he found that out through the media.
Well, then of course it's not been agreed. So that it just doesn't look good. Now, what can Newcastle do about this? I was listening to, I think it was Sean Dyche the other day with Johnny Owen, and he was talking about this situation. You can find them. You can find them 2-week wages. I think there's only a certain amount you can go up to. I think it's 6 wages is 6 weeks' wages, the highest you can pay. But if the club you're willing to go or you're in discussions with says, look, we'll fund that. Don't worry. If you get fined, we'll do that. Player power is probably the biggest it's been to date as we speak. Chairman, agents are going to be in his ear saying, or all his advisors just saying, look, if it's Liverpool, they'll pay you fine. There's no way Liverpool are not coming back in for this. And obviously the deal for Benjamin Cesco as well has come into fruition. So that shows there are movements that are taking place, but it just doesn't look good for Alexander Isak. And for me, there's no doubt that if this doesn't, that Newcastle hold all the cards. You'll know that. They hold all the cards. If they want 150 million, Liverpool or whoever it may be has to pay 150 million. If they don't, he stays at Newcastle. Will he be accepted in the changing room? 100%. He's the best player. And there's no way that players are going to turn against him. No way at all.
So you're saying that, because you'll have been in these scenarios where you've got a player at your club that is going, do you know what, lads, I'm off. You know, I want to leave now. I think I'm due a move, and they've refused to maybe train, they've refused to go on a tour, etc. You're telling me that if Newcastle decided to keep Alexander Isak, like you say, at this moment they hold a lot of the cards in this situation. You're saying that when it comes to that start of the season, some of these players, by the way, who've had conversations with Alexander Isak and have said, please, can you stay, mate? Like, we're trying to build something here. And he said, nah, do you know what? I'm off. You're saying that there's not going to at least be a bit of ill will in that dressing room towards Alexander Isak, who's essentially shunned them all and said, I want to go off to Liverpool and win.
Maybe now.
Win trophies.
Maybe now in terms of privately, Alexander Isak isn't there. So there might be discussions taking place within certain groups of players saying, I can't believe he's doing this. But I have been there, and I've been at Newcastle. It's kind of different, because if there's Geordies in a change room, they will find that disrespectful. There's not as many as there was when I was there. But again, you come back to training, Bruno Guimaraes might sit down, Joe Linton might sit down and say, like, right, are you committed to us? If he says, yeah, of course, there's no problem whatsoever. It may be different now. In my era, there'd have been no problem at all. That's from a player's point of view.
It's awkward with the fans, though, as well.
I want to get a fan's point of view.
It's unbelievably awkward for Eddie Howe, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Because, I'll just sit there and go, this is a guy who's made it pretty clear he doesn't want to play for Newcastle.
Eddie Howe's not stupid, though.
Do you want that player in your club? And actually, what I've liked about the way Howe's spoken about this situation is he said this whole time, he said, we will do what is right for Newcastle.
Of course.
At no point has he said, and he couldn't have said this, but at no point has he kind of bent to the wishes of Alexander Isak. It's just whether he thinks what's best for Newcastle is to hold on to a player who has undoubtedly bags of talent, but at the same time has openly basically admitted he doesn't want to be at that club.
Yeah, what's best for Newcastle is, you're right, getting the best deal possible for Newcastle, whether that's...
So you don't think they should keep him?
No, what I'm saying is whether they sell him for 150 million and that's the best deal for Newcastle, or if you're getting a committed Alexander Isak through the season, that's what, and you've promised him that the following year, if you get another bid, he can go, and he's committed, and he shows that through his attitude, he shows that through his performances.
What does that say about Newcastle, though, as a club? They're not this stepping stone anymore, Darren. They don't want to be.
And that's why he's still there. That's why he's still there.
And that's why he's still there at the moment. But even if they do say, right, okay, you can have 1 year, then you can go off to your next club. I'm not sure what message that sends about the kind of club Newcastle want to be.
But the
even
message,
if he's good.
Well, the message it sends is, if we're not getting what we want, you're not going anywhere. Now, that's a club that's on the rise. That's a club that's saying, we're not a stepping stone. If you want our best player, you pay £150 million for him. We're not giving you 300 grand a week.
But you've just talked about him potentially having a clause next summer to leave.
No, not a clause. What I'm saying is an agreement that if... Look, the agreement could be in terms of we get Champions League football again. It's down to us. If we don't get Champions League football and a big club, Champions League football, Liverpool, whoever may come in, we will accept 120, 130. You've got a year less on your contract. It's not a clause written in. It's an agreement. And by the way, those agreements can change. We've seen that with certain players. I think Harry Kane had a verbal agreement and it didn't come to forefront. So what's best for Newcastle is as much money as you can get, or a committed player that's gonna be the player that he was last year.
In
Alexander
Isak. Sailed with that.
No, I think you're looking at this from a supporter's point of view, and that's absolutely fine.
Am I being too salty?
A little bit, yeah. From a supporter's point of view, then, which you are, do you want him back?
I just feel at the moment like the ship sailed. Right now, the ship sailed.
See, that is salty, because are you saying if you go out in the first game of the season and Alexander Isak is in the team, he'll probably get a little bit.
Do you know who our first home game is, by the way?
Go on.
Liverpool.
Fantastic.
That, isn't it?
So say he scores the winner against Liverpool. Are you going to be sitting there and not celebrating?
Who's that fellow who watches England and doesn't celebrate Harry Kane goals?
Is that going to be you?
No, I couldn't do that.
Is the stadium going to be silent?
I couldn't do that. It'd be awkward, though, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Really
yeah.
Awkward.
There's going to be
won't celebrate.
There's going to be some people upset. I'd love to hear. I'm talking as a player. So as a player, in my team, I want the best players. if that's Alexander Isak and he comes back and he's committed to the team, which, look, no matter what happens in football, in sagas, in transfer requests, in transfer sagas, as we're talking about, you're still committed if you're playing. You go out on the football pitch, he's not going to throw it in. He's not. He's going to be committed because he has ambitions. He has professionalism. And yes, he's done the wrong things. He's probably been advised ill, but it's a huge move that he wants.
03717223344. Am I being a bit too salty then as a Newcastle fan? And what do you think Newcastle should do in this situation? Very, very tricky one for them. We'll chat about Benjamin Cesco in just a moment as well, Darren. But of course, it is the opening day of the EFL season. There's been games across League One and League Two. Dan is a Wigan fan. Dan, great win for you so far. Were you at the game today?
Afternoon, mate. Yeah, just back from the game now on our way home. Not really got anything to debate. Just wanted to. It was nice and refreshing after a couple of rough years and a funny season last season. 3 goals we've scored, a couple of new players in, new manager. Just that real feel-good factor today, I think. Just happy about it.
Oh, great stuff, Dan. Who impressed you the most then?
Chris Sadie was picked up from Portsmouth last season. I think he was in and out of their team. Didn't see much of him, really. But a lot of their fans were sort of gutted he'd gone, telling us Wigan fans we've got a good signing on our hands. And he smashed it today, mate. Strong as an ox. Kept the ball up well. He's like, ball stuck to his foot. He held it up well. Strong in the air. They just couldn't handle him. Everything good up top at pitch came from him, really.
Seems like you've got a lot of goals in your team as well, Dan. Obviously, Fraser Murray getting a couple today. Paul Mullin coming off the bench. He's renowned to be a great goal scorer. Yeah, what's the optimism like this season?
I think I was quite optimistic. I thought maybe edge at playoffs before the season, just because it's a bit of an unknown. Ryan Lowe's back in football now. Looks like a good manager. I know he had a bit of a gap after he left Preston. We're definitely more attacking. I think Tickle and the defence have been great last couple of seasons. But you just want to see more goals. You know, like Ted Millard, he's only 10, and he was bored back end of last season, which is a shame. You know, you just want to see more goals. And that looks like with the signings Lowe's made, looks like what we're going for this season. So, I mean, I'd be happy with a bit of a playoff push, but just happy for seeing more goals, mate. You know, top half of the table. Just bring that excitement back down at Wigan.
Yep. Dan, I know obviously your focus would have been on your club, Wigan, today, but I feel like it could be quite a long season for Northampton under Kevin Nolan. What did you make of them today?
I think they're probably one of my favourites go down, even before we played today. I think we played them last game of last season, and they're sort of always down there. They had a good run back end of last season that kept them up. I think they might be a little bit short this year. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
I think they had about 5 minutes today where they were in the game, and that's all. But, you know, it's first game away. It's a long season for them, but let's see. Yeah, but they weren't great, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Dan, how buzzing are you with 3 points?
Absolutely buzzing, mate.
Top man. I love it. Enjoy tonight, mate. Dan the Wigan fan there. 03717223344. If you're heading back from a game in Leagues 1 and 2, we want to hear from you. 03717223344. Let's get an update from the opening day of the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell are taking on Rangers. David Tanner is watching for talkSPORT.
A couple of minutes to go in the first half. It's Motherwell 0, Rangers 1. James Tavernier with a goal after 14 minutes. A headed goal following a corner kick. That came just a minute after Danilo almost scored. He chipped one from the edge of the box and it floated over the goalkeeper and landed on the top of the crossbar. Rangers in control, but Motherwell do look dangerous on the break. Motherwell 0, Rangers 1.
We'll take more of your calls on those EFL games in just a moment. We'll also chat about Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle have put a huge bid in for, but should he go to Manchester United or Newcastle United? Come on, Benjamin, make the right choice. This is talkSPORT. you think you'll have ever heard a louder roar at St James's Park if in that first game of the season, Newcastle-Liverpool, Isak's playing for Liverpool and Dan Bird flattens it?
They don't even need to win. It's the first challenge. Whack of that.
Joel Linton. Straight in.
I tell you what, if that's the case, I'm going to try and get tickets to come up there. I've got to see it.
Me and you together. This is Kickoff here on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink, alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren Ambrose. We're still taking your calls on the return of the EFL 0371722 3344 if there's something you want to get off your chest. Right, it's half time between Motherwell and Rangers. Watching for talkSPORT, David Tanner.
Motherwell 0, Rangers 1 under new management in the boardroom, and in the technical area, Rangers under Russell Martin have a freshness about them with 4 new signings in the starting lineup making league debuts. It was the longest serving player at the club who got the goal, captain James Tavernier, scoring for the 131st time for Rangers. 2 defensive errors gifted to the Rangers that goal. Motherwell skipper Paul McGinn shanked an attempt at a clearance. It went behind for a corner. Tavernier was left completely unmarked, 6 yards out, and headed past Callum Ward. All too easy. Motherwell are still in this game though, and they could have equalised when an Emmanuel Longelo effort was spilled by Jack Butland, but who recovered quickly to stop the rebound. Motherwell 0, Rangers 1 at half-time.
David, thanks very much indeed. Now, Darren, a bit earlier, we were talking about an incident in the game between Barnet and Fleetwood where the goalkeeper gave the ball away outside his own box for Barnet, and it was a simple goal for Fleetwood. And we were talking about that, playing out the back. Is it the right thing to do in those lower leagues? We can now hear from the Barnet manager, Dean Brennan, who's been speaking to Ian Abrahams after his side's 2-0 loss to Fleetwood today, and he was very critical of his goalkeeper.
Can I ask you an honest question? I know you'll give me an honest answer. With the first half your goalkeeper had, did you think about bringing him off at half-time?
No, but listen, when you act the way he acted this summer and the way he's been this summer, it's been so frustrating. He picks up an injury, he misses. My philosophy is to overload and play out from the back. It's as simple as that, and I always want to adhere to that. But when we start, what frustrated me more, not the mistake, frustrated me more when he's just booting balls 50, 60 yards. We don't want that. So that's what frustrated me more. He can play his own game, and he thinks that's good enough. It's not good enough. So, and his actions in the summer have caused that mistake. So he's prepped that way. He's the one that's only had 2 or 3 training sessions, all because of the messing we had in the summer.
So what do you do about that?
Tell him the truth. And at the end of the day, if he don't do it, we'll get somebody else in to do it. Simple.
Blimey, Owen Evans, by the way, that goalkeeper. I mean, have you ever been that publicly dressed down, Darren, in your career?
No, not like that. But we've seen Dean Brennan before, haven't we? We've seen the interviews that he gives at the end. He's real passionate. He's got a lot of desire. We know that. He cares about his team. He cares about his players, but he cares about winning, doesn't he? And you can tell that. And he knows his players better than anyone. I know he's not been there long, but he knows his players better than anyone, and he may feel this will do him good.
Do you do that in private, though?
He would have definitely done that in private as well.
But what I mean by that is, you kind of bat away that question from me and Abraham. You kind of protect your player a bit. Because ultimately, to be fair, it was the first goal of the game. It has cost his team today. He has buried his player.
If I'm a manager, I would bat it away. I would do it in private, of course, but he feels that that's the right thing to do. He feels he might get a reaction maybe out of his goalkeeper. I tell you right now, we won't be seeing that again for at least 10 games. He ain't going to be playing out from the back. I tell you that right now.
Well, yeah, at least the message will hit home. I reckon. I guess that's the flip side of
people want honesty, don't they? People want honesty from their managers and not batting these questions away. So he'll get criticised, Dean Brennan, but look, he's done what he feels right for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we've been chatting about the Alexander Isak saga, what Newcastle should do in this situation with Isak refusing to go on tour. He's back for Newcastle training now. He was training alone at his old club, Real Sociedad, as well. It's caused a bit of anger with plenty of Newcastle United fans. Guy is a Newcastle fan. Guy, how do you think this situation is going to play out?
Hi there, sorry. I think Isak stays.
Do you?
I think we'll sign Cesco. I think basically we'll have a great team next year for the season. And I'm going to put it on board now. I think we'll finish above Liverpool.
No way. Really? So what? We win the league?
Yeah. Because I really think, personally, since the Saudis have took over, I don't think they mean business. The PSR has been a obviously a problem. But I think Eddie Howe hasn't got the players that he wanted to sign at the moment. But I think looking forward, I just think they're going to be a lot better team than they are last season, which they finished 5th. And I do believe that, yeah, I do.
It's only 2 signings through the door, though, at the moment, Guy, Ramsdale and Elanga, and it looks like Isak might leave. I just want to ask you, though, so you're more than happy to forgive Isak for the way this is all played out, not going on the tour, not playing in pre-season. You don't care about that?
Well, it's speculation. I mean, agents do a lot of talking for players, but we all know, basically, what do you say? I mean, he's back in training, as I've heard. I think Newcastle's in a good position. He's got left 3 years of his contract. Stick out for 150 million. That's what I would do. I don't think Liverpool will meet it. And I think Eddie Howe will have a talk to him, hopefully now, and just say, look, give another season, and let's see how we are from there. And I just think Isak, Cesco up front, I just think it'd be fantastic.
Guy, if you don't sign Cesco and Isak does stay, are you still winning the league? You're still beating Liverpool?
No, we'll need another striker.
So it's literally Benjamin Cesco, and that's it. That's what wins you the league.
I think with Cesco and Isak staying, definitely winning the league, I would say yes.
Wow.
Now, finishing the Champions League, obviously, I would have a different kind of frame of mind, but with them two up front, I would say yes, yeah.
Guy, I wish I was as optimistic as you. That's fantastic. Firstly, optimistic that Isak will stay. Cheers for your call.
Brilliant.
Guy, 03717223344 above Liverpool. And winning the league next season with Sesko and Isak up front.
That's making the best of talkSPORT tomorrow on Drive, for sure.
It's got to, hasn't it? It's got to.
Do you think?
Guy, what an ambitious man.
I might ask another caller. I'm going to ask you, at being a fan. The bid for Benjamin Cesco, do you think that isn't to replace Isak? Do you think that's to show their intent to Isak, that we have ambition and we want you to stay?
Do you know what's interesting is when they were going in for Ekatike, the noises out of the club were, no, this is for a different change of formation. Yeah. This is for Ekatike to play alongside Isak.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to think about how they're selling this to Cesco. Are they saying to him, look, you're going to come in, you're going to take the number 9 shirt, someone like Isak might not be at the club, so, you are going to be this main man? Or are they saying you're going to be playing alongside him, or maybe you're going to be, rotating around? How do you think they're selling this?
It's true. It's one of those that if you are Benjamin Cesco and you're thinking, do I go Manchester United or Newcastle United? And you think, I'm having chats with both. And Newcastle have said, right, we're getting rid of our best player. We're in the Champions League, I know, but we're getting rid of our best player. But you're going to play. You're going to play as number 9. Is that enough to make you think, well, I want to go to Newcastle other than Manchester United? Or
what choice should he make? Newcastle or Manchester United, Benjamin Cesco?
See, it's awful for me at the minute because I'm getting a lot of stick from the Manchester United supporters at the moment. They think I hate them, and I don't hate them. But for Benjamin Cesco at the moment, I think he should go to Newcastle.
Is that because Champions League football?
Yes, Champions League football. Newcastle are building momentum. Manchester United are still in a transition, which they've been in for a very long time. I just believe that Eddie Howe, what he done for Alexander Isak after coming from Real Sociedad, I think he got 6 goals the previous year to turn him into the player he is now. Look, it's not all Eddie Howe. I know that. It's Isak as well. There's a better opportunity, I feel, for a young player to go to Newcastle at this moment than there is Manchester United. And I think the generations are all... It's on the brink now of generation where you think, well, it's Manchester United, the history of the football club. Is that enough for a player now coming through, a young player, to say, well, what they did 10, 15, 20 years ago is why I'm going there, as opposed to building with a club that are on the up?
It feels like they need someone who's more ready-made, or at least you know what to expect, someone like an Olly Watkins. I just feel like, the Højlund transfer hasn't worked out.
Be careful, because I said this the other day. And again... It's a different type of player and it's a different need of football clubs. For me, at the moment, I believe Manchester United need an Olly Watkins, need a proven Premier League goal scorer that's been there, got the T-shirt, and he knows what he's doing. They're here and now. They've never really been a sell-on club. So why all of a sudden they have to be, well, there's no sell-on clause for Olly Watkins, there's no sell-on resale value. It doesn't matter. They're not a sell-on club. So I believe that Watkins should join Manchester United if he wanted to, of course. And we have to stress that because Aston Villa fans will call up, why would he want to go there? Because we're not asking that. We're saying, who would you prefer? And I think Cesco should go to Newcastle.
Yeah. It's a scattergun approach.
I mean, he's a talented player.
Ambrose.
He's a talented player. And I was questioned whether I thought he was talented or not the other day. Of course I do. When you listen to Andy Brassell, when you listen to Kevin Hatchard, you speak so highly of this player. He's built for the Premier League. That's what it seems. I just feel at the moment, Manchester United need a proven out-and-out Premier League goal scorer. And I think Cesco would do really well at Newcastle with or without Alexander Isak being there.
03717 22 Keep your calls coming in. If you're a Liverpool fan as well, what do you make of this situation? The fact that as it stands, Liverpool aren't going in for another bid. Do you want them to be more active? Do you want them to try and prize Isak away from Newcastle? This is Kickoff here on talkSPORT.
Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Some are pretty straightforward. Arsenal are the Gunners because they were founded by a group of munitions workers, and Bournemouth are the Cherries because their old stadium was built right next to a cherry orchard. Then there's Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ipswich Town nicked their nickname off their opponents in the late 90s, Birmingham. The term Tractor Boys was chanted as a way to tease the team about their farming background, but they started using it themselves as a way to cheer on the team in victory instead. Take that, Birmingham. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Crystal Palace's nickname came from an extreme makeover. They were having a nightmare run in the 70s, and when they were relegated, their manager, Malcolm Allison, wasn't having it. I know what will make us better, he thought, a new nickname. The Strong and Deadly Eagle sounded like a pretty good bet. And there's more to that story. Brighton used Palace's nickname to inspire their own. Ooh, a bird, they thought. Let's just pick a different one for us. And so in a heated match between the two teams back in 1976, when Palace
wound up a Manchester United fan, Darren.
Oh,
you've wound one up. You've wound one up. You've probably wound more than one up, mate.
He'll be asking Grok to clear that up next.
Oh, brilliant stuff. This is Kickoff here on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink, alongside former Premier League midfielder and Manchester United hater, Darren Ambrose. No, I'm joking, of course. Later in the show, we're going to be discussing where Son Heung-min ranks among the Premier League greats. Is he a Premier League legend after he announced that he'd be leaving Tottenham this summer? Darren, a big Spurs fan. We'll also want your calls on the return of the EFL, of course. Games up and down Leagues 1 and 2 today across the country. If you're driving back from that or you want to have your say, 03717 223344. Also taking calls on the future of Alexander Isak. But first, the British and Irish Lions missed out on the chance to complete a series whitewash down under after they were beaten 22-12 by the Wallabies. Live on talkSPORT earlier today, head coach Andy Farrell spoke to the media after the game and he had this to say on his disappointment not to claim a 3-0 series victory over Australia.
I suppose there's obviously going to be frustration there because, like we've said all along, that we wanted to win every game, and rightly so. But the best team won on the night today. Just said to the lads that on reflection, it might take one, it might take 2 beers, but they'll be unbelievably proud of what they've achieved throughout this tour. We all know how hard it is to be successful on a Lions tour against a good side like Australia, and they are a good side, and they proved that over the series. So on reflection, when we get a bit of time to ourselves tonight and tomorrow, we'll be unbelievably proud of what we achieved.
Yeah, huge achievement. For more on this now and a look back on this series, I'm delighted to say we're joined by former England prop Rocky Clark. Rocky, good evening. How are you doing?
Hi, gents. Yeah, very well, thank you. A little bit disappointed with the last game. I just thought the Lions might show up and take the whitewash, but you know it wasn't meant to be. There was certainly some biblical monsoons going on over in Australia. Not for us though.
Yeah, I should be pointing out there was a huge delay in the game because of the rain in Sydney, which would have had a big effect on the game, wouldn't it, Rocky? And do you feel it maybe stopped a bit of momentum for the Lions?
Well, yeah, for sure. Having the lightning came just after half time. The Wallabies had momentum throughout the first half, and you just wonder whether that may have taken the sting out of them. But also for the Wallabies, a couple of their big guys, Tupou and Skelton, they would have had a nice little 40-minute breather, so that probably meant they were able to carry on. And obviously, Skelt's 150 kilos, 6'8", size 18 feet. That fella needs a little bit of a break. So, and to him just running riot through the Lions was insane. But yeah, it was tough day for the Lions, and they'll be really disappointed with that.
Yeah, they were. I mean, we can't take away from them that they have won the series, and that is a huge achievement. But, I feel that with the whitewash, Rocky, and I don't know if you agree with this, I just think that was their chance to make sure they were remembered, as a fantastic all-time Lions touring side. To go and whitewash a team, it's rarely been done by a Lions side. And, they've won this series 2-1. They had that amazing moment at the end of the second test, winning it in the final minute. But do you think that it does take away from the achievement slightly that they have come away with just a 2-1 win in the series?
Yeah, you saw the elation last week where they know they'd won the series and they were bouncing around and to win it in the dying seconds of that second game was huge for them. And to come away and not perform and do what they wanted to do, they will be massively disappointed. And as you say, it could have gone down in the history books. I think the last time there was a whitewash was like 1904. So, we're talking yes, over a century that this would have made history. But they'll be disappointed hugely, and you could see that on their faces straight after the game. But they have to remember and reflect, as Andy Farrell has said, that what they've achieved is massive. And full credit to Australia. They were fast out the blocks. They were a different side, and how they came out last week in that first half, just the difference that some of their big players made, just really. Was hard for the Lions to cope with.
Rocky, do you think that a series whitewash comes into effect with the players' mentality? And I'm talking both sets of players as well. It's easy for the management to try and get them ready for the game. But in terms of the British and Irish Lions, I think they could relax a little bit. They'd already won the series. They can go and play with freedom. And Australia, of course, have to go out and win because they don't want to be whitewashed. Should that come into effect with the players?
Yeah, for sure. Especially Australia, they are not wanting to be embarrassed on a 3-0 and for history to be made against them. They're obviously really gutted, and a wounded animal is a dangerous animal from last week's loss as well. And perhaps you could see the difference in the changing room when the lightning had happened, and there's a 30-minute that they have to wait for it to be clear to be safe. And you got some of the Lions guys just really chilled out, sat around looking like they were on a rest day. And then you've got the Wallabies, you see them doing analysis in their small groups, and they still had to come out and prove something. Only 8-0 at half-time. It was anyone's game.
I've got a really tricky question for you, Rocky. Who is your Lions player of the series? I feel there's a number of candidates, actually, for this, but who would you go for if you had to pick?
Yeah, loads of people have stood up for me. I particularly thought before we went into the tests how well Jack Morgan had done. He'd really stood out for me and been a class player, but obviously didn't get picked for that first test and has been a sub. Couple of players, obviously, Byrne and Curry were pretty phenomenal, especially Curry. I think really would be in those sort of top three, especially. Yeah, all 3 games, scored a couple of tries as well in the first few tests. But for me, Finn Russell has been exceptional as well, playing in the right areas, just so skillful, just mastermind and done brilliant things. So, yeah, probably between Curry and Russell.
Obviously, Rocky, when you get over the disappointment of losing today and not getting the series whitewash, and Andy Farrell spoke about it, that they should be proud of themselves. But how will the public, how will the people see in terms of this tour? How do you think they will feel that it went?
Yeah, I think it'll be remembered for a while. Obviously, they'll remember that they had the win, but it will be talked about that what if moment, like what they just didn't seem to turn up, and that disappointment. And but one of the best things as a fan was just seeing how much it meant to them, that the spiciness that was in that game. A few people getting really rolled up, and I love that as a front row forward. You want to be getting into people's heads, and it was the scrum half White who had, the charge with the Wallabies doing that. And you just wonder how well the Lions cope with that. And they seem to sort of take a backward step on that. So I think some of that might be remembered, that they didn't stand up at the last minute. But, everyone wants to beat Australia. So, yeah, tough one.
Yeah, we all love a scrap as well, of course. Rocky, I just want to ask you about Andy Farrell and also Maro Itoje. Do you feel that with this series win, they have fully cemented themselves as legends of the Lions?
Yeah, definitely, I would say so. Obviously, Itoje on his ability alone, and then being a Lions winning captain as well, it was massive. And he'd be gutted that he got taken off early. Obviously, had failed his HIA, so that was disappointing for him. But he spoke really well at the end, lifting the trophy, and will go down in history as one of the greats. And then Andy Farrell, how he's got this team together. He made some big, bold calls in the first few tests where everyone was a little bit dubious, and actually they proved that they were the right calls, and he knows his test match animals. But yeah, it's just tarnished for both of them, just not doing a 3-0. It's always disappointing to finish on a loss, but they've achieved something massive and won the series.
Rocky, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Cheers, gents.
Thanks for joining us. Rocky Clark, former England prop there. I love that phrase, test match animals, by the way.
It's brilliant.
What were you? Were you an N-Power animal? Barclays animal? Back in your day as a player?
A non-league man? What do you call it now? I don't know. Subman?
Now, Darren, just before we spoke to Rocky, I mentioned that you'd wound up a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, go on.
Probably not the only one.
Read it.
But we were talking, weren't we, about Benjamin Cesco?
Yes.
And it seems at the moment he's got this choice between going to Newcastle United or Manchester United.
Yeah.
Newcastle have put a huge bid in for him. You think that actually it should be Olly Watkins who goes to Manchester United and that Cesco should go to Newcastle. I've got a text here from Jill who says, the reason you're getting stick, Darren, is this ridiculous narrative. Manchester United are rebuilding. We're a big club where talented players will still come. I'm sick of hearing ex-players say this.
So Olly Watkins isn't talented? Is that what she's saying? He's not a talented football player? Essentially what she's saying. She wants a young, talented player, is what she should have said.
And the strange thing about that is that hasn't worked in recent seasons.
I actually pinpointed that the other day. I said it doesn't remind me as such as Rasmus Højlund because Cesco is sought after a little bit. He's higher rated.
Better, isn't
his CV's better. He's higher rated. But why try out another overseas player for a lot of money that hasn't stepped foot in the Premier League yet? But he could come and be sensational. We know that. And I hope he does. Whoever he plays for, he could be sensational. I said the same when Rasmus Højlund signed. I have no bias towards anyone. I just feel at this current moment, an Olly Watkins type of player is a better fit for Manchester United than a Cesco.
The other thing to point out is the noises coming out of Manchester United are that Ruben Amorim wants Olly Watkins over Cesco. It's actually the recruitment team at Manchester United who are after Cesco in this instance. So you know, Amorim agrees with you, mate. So there we go.
That's all we can say. I have been speaking closely to Amorim, and he told me that he wanted Olly Watkins.
Yeah. It keeps popping up on your phone, doesn't it, Ruben? Yeah. Right, let's get back to Motherwell. The second half of their game against Rangers is underway. It is the opening day of the Scottish Premiership. Watching for talkSPORT, David Tanner.
Motherwell 0, Rangers 1. We've played almost an hour at Fir Park, and it's the home side that are dominating at the moment. Rangers on the back foot. A terrific free kick from the left was looped over Jack Butland, who should have got a hand on it. And at the back post, Elijah was just off target. A real let-off for Rangers. And then Paul McGinn, the captain, beat Nasser Jiga on the left-hand side from Motherwell. And his shot was brilliantly saved by Jack Butland. And John Suter slid in to block a follow-up. Rangers beginning to tire after that gruelling 90 minutes in 40-degree heat in Athens on Wednesday night. Changes coming, I'm sure. Motherwell 0, Rangers 1.
David, thank you very much indeed. Right, we're going to take more of your calls in just a moment. 03717 223344. And a bit later in the show, we're going to be talking about Son Heung-min, who has left Tottenham Hotspur. What legacy does he leave behind? Not just at Spurs, but in the Premier League as well. Is he a Premier League great? Is he a Premier League legend? Where does he rank in terms of the best wingers in the Premier League in its history? I'm pretty sure Darren Ambrose said top 3 earlier. We'll find out what he thinks a bit later on. This is talkSPORT. This is Kick-Off here on talkSPORT. I'm Olly, Clink. I'm alongside the former Premier League midfielder, and he's an absolute wind-up merchant today, isn't he? Darren Ambrose. We're still taking your calls on the return of the EFL 03717 223344. If there's something you want to get off your chest, your team might have won today, they might have lost, you might want to have a big old rant, we will take your call. Here's how the return of domestic football, though, sounded across the talkSPORT network.
Fires the ball goalwards and equalises, went direct for goal and found it.
I tell you what, it's an outstanding finish.
Capaccio, oh what a goal! What a way to get your first goal for Cardiff City.
Remembering my own playing days, and the first day of the season can be quite a difficult game because there's so much expectation, you put so much into it.
Plymouth 0, Barnsley 2, and this time it is an absolute cracker from Adam Phillips. And it's teed up for a shot and into the bottom corner. A left-footed drive by Bobby Poynton, and it's Bradford City 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0, and Valley Parade is in dreamland.
Huddersfield 2, Leyton Orient 0. Alfie May has just got his debut goal for Huddersfield.
Bonds, who was about 12-15 yards out, left of centre, and he's turned and fired the ball into the back of that. Uphill task now for the EFL new boys. Barnet 0, Fleetwood 2.
Lincoln 2, Reading 0. Lincoln double their lead. Rico Hackett has kept his calm, kept his composure. The lovely finish here.
Udo's done one, he's made the run and the finish and the goal for Wycombe Wanderers, and they're back in this game. Plymouth 1, Barnsley 3 to surely wraps it up. Davis Kinordun is the man who's got it.
Comes Molyneux, hits it, and it goes straight down the middle. It is Doncaster Rovers 1, Exeter 0.
10-man Walsall 2, Swindon 1. Connor Barrett. This stadium has come alive once again.
It does feel like a flattering scoreline, but Huddersfield 3-0 up.
Isn't it just unreal to have domestic football back? Remember that tomorrow from midday over on talkSPORT 2, you can hear Stockport against Bolton in League One. Bolton and Stockport definitely going to be in the mix for promotion this season. Carry on getting your calls into us if you want to talk about today's action on 03717 223344. We've had some fantastic calls so far today. I'm still getting over Guy, the Newcastle fan.
Winning the league.
Thinks we're going to win the league. Come on, Guy.
If you sign Cesco.
Go on, can you imagine Jason Cundy taking that call?
No,
genuinely.
No, I can't.
Guy, I can't believe it. I can't, but Guy. Ridiculous. And talking about you being a wind-up merchant, by the way, we read out a text from Jill, the Manchester United fan, who is so frustrated at the thought that Olly Watkins will join Manchester United and not the super talented Benjamin Sesko.
Yep.
And Jill is so annoyed with you, Darren Ambrose. She's called in, mate.
Oh,
She's called 03717 223344. Jill, how much is Darren Ambrose winding you up tonight?
Olly, good evening, first of all, Olly.
Hello.
Darren, you have wound me up so much that I've stopped what I'm doing and picked up the phone to ring in.
Go on, explain,
Jill. My name's Jill, not she. Also, I never said Olly Watkins was not a talented player. He's a very talented player. What is annoying me with these ex-players, including yourself and Gabby Abongahor and the rest of them, is they keep saying that these players should not come to United, okay? United have had an awful season, or few seasons, should I say. I get that. However, we're also rebuilding, right? We're rebuilding.
Which is what I said, yeah.
I'm sick of this narrative of players, ex-players, saying that players should not come to Manchester United.
When did I say that?
And that they should go to Newcastle United or another club because they're in Champions League. Newcastle United are also rebuilding, okay? They're also rebuilding. Yes, they're in Champions League.
Okay, so when did I say, Jill, when did I say that he shouldn't come to Manchester United? I said he should go to Newcastle over Manchester United. I didn't say he shouldn't come to Manchester United.
Okay, so you said he should go to Newcastle over Manchester United.
Yeah, I do. At this current position,
Darren.
yeah, I do.
Same thing. He shouldn't go to Manchester
United. Okay, so why should he go to Manchester United? Because they won the league a few times a few years ago.
He's a young player. Okay, Amorim's really good at developing young players. Why shouldn't he go to Manchester United?
So's Eddie Howe, and they're in the Champions League, Jill.
Oh, because they're in Champions League, is that it?
Yes.
So you're saying that all these teams,
the players that have ambition want Champions League football immediately.
They should go to Manchester. They should go to anybody else but Manchester United. We're a massive club. Why shouldn't they come to Manchester United? You've wound me up so much.
No, you was a massive club. You are a massive club globally and in business terms, but in football terms, are you still a massive club now?
Business terms.
When's the last time you won the league?
Laugh, Darren.
When's the last time you won the league?
Are you saying Manchester United are only a big club in global terms and business terms?
I'm saying, are they a big club in football terms now? Right now, Jill, you're not listening. Right now, you're not listening. Right now, are they a big footballing club? Right now, they come 15th last season.
Come on. Are they a big footballing club? Yes, we are a big footballing club. Yes, we're not playing well. We've not had a good season. We're going to rebuild and we'll come back.
Okay.
We are still a big footballing club.
Okay, so is Newcastle a big football club?
Question. Yes.
Is Newcastle a big football club?
Yes, Newcastle's a big football club.
Okay, so why then should Cesco pick Manchester United and not Newcastle? You explain to me why that.
Oh, tomatoes, as they say, yeah?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He can pick what he likes. But
you're answering your own question there.
Saying he shouldn't come to Manchester United because Newcastle United, Liverpool, Arsenal are in the Champions League. Are you telling me?
I'd say you should pick every one of those clubs at the moment. Yeah, over
because they're in the Champions League.
Yes,
Jill, I think you're underestimating how big a draw the Champions League is. It's the top tier competition.
I know we've won it.
That's a good response, to be fair, from Jill.
Well, when? Like 2008?
I think you've finished, Jill. Honestly, I think she's so exasperated.
I'm not trying to wind anyone up. I'm saying he should pick Newcastle. I'd pick Arsenal. I'd pick Liverpool over Manchester United at the moment.
Jill, why? Can I ask you one thing? Can I ask you one thing? Why you seem to be much more in favour of getting Sesko to Manchester United than Olly Watkins? Why is that?
I am not much more in favour. I would take Olly Watkins. Absolutely, I would take Olly Watkins. I would also take Cesco. I'm not saying one over the other. And I never said Olly Watkins was never a talented player because I said when we needed another striker that I would have gone for Olly Watkins.
Yeah, but your words were you saying...
I never said he wasn't a talented player.
You said us ex-players keep saying that Manchester United can't sign talented players. That was your words.
You do.
No, I don't.
You do.
I said you should sign Olly Watkins because at this current moment, having Olly Watkins in your squad, when you have Rasmus Højlund, when you have Xerxes there, to be that role model to them, and not only that, be a great goal scorer, which we've seen in the Premier League, would benefit Manchester United more at the moment than a Benjamin Sesko. And Benjamin Sesko would currently be better off going to Newcastle United.
Darren, we don't need Olly Watkins to be a role model. We've got plenty of.
Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes need someone to teach them how to put it in the back of the net. So yeah, I think Olly Watkins would be that person.
Oh, do you know what?
I'll tell you what, Jill. I think let's all have a cup of tea. let's.
I just hope you sign someone that scores you some goals.
There we go, Jill. Thanks very much for calling in there. But yeah, I think the argument there it's about the fact that Newcastle is a huge destination as well, and there's
like I said, Ollie, when was my words that he shouldn't go to Manchester United? I said he should go to Newcastle instead.
Well, you did say
Newcastle was an option.
You did say
Manchester United.
You did say that they should choose Watkins over Cesco, and that he should go to Newcastle.
Yeah, agreed.
So you are technically saying he should.
And I'm doubling down on that. I think that's what should happen. I think my argument's valid as well.
I've got a text from Dino. Darren Ambrose, another Manchester United hater who supports Spurs. How can he even talk?
And the Champions League as well. I'd pick Spurs over United.
Keep the calls coming in. 0371722 3344. Let's get back to the opening day of the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell are facing Rangers. Watching for talkSPORT, David Tanner.
Halfway through the second half at Fir Park, it's Motherwell 0, Rangers 1. James Tavernier with the goal in the first half. I told you that Rangers should make changes. They have. Cyril Dessers has come on for Danilo, and Lyle Cameron has come on for Mohamed Diomande. And the former Dundee midfielder was booked within a minute of coming onto the pitch for halting a break by Lucas Fadinger. He also, Lyle Cameron, had a half volley that was well saved by the goalkeeper. I can tell you Motherwell should have equalised moments ago. Apostolos Stamatopoulos had just headed over at the back post when he really should have got that on target, and if he had, he'd have equalised for Motherwell. It's Motherwell 0, Rangers 1.
If you're as fuming with Darren Ambrose as Jill was there, you can call us on 03717 223344. You might disagree with Jill as well if you're a Manchester United fan. Do you think that Olly Watkins would be a better choice at this moment in time than Benjamin Cesco, who's making his mind up at the moment? Go on, Benjamin. Pick the right United. Come to Newcastle. This is talkSPORT.
More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City dry cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good evening, this is Kick-Off on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink, alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren, Ambrose. Still time to get your calls in on the return of the EFL. There were games up and down the country in Leagues 1 and 2. 03717 22 3344 if you want to chat about your club. We've also been talking about the future of Benjamin Cesco. He's got a choice between Newcastle United and Manchester United, it looks like. We've talked about the Alexander Isak saga too, so give us a call on that. We've had a text, Darren, by the way. I wonder if you can guess who it's from. It says, Ollie, love you, love the show. No one's ever said that before. And then it says, Darren, get lost. I'm now wound up like a spinning top. Who do you think that's from?
Is that Jill again?
It's from Jill, yeah.
I feel bad for Jill. I didn't want to upset her or annoy her.
Poor Jill.
Just an opinion. Opinions ain't facts.
She was exasperated by
opinions ain't facts.
By all of that. But yeah, Jill a bit upset with Darren saying Cesco should pick Newcastle United. Had some other texts from...
People care about their clubs, though, don't they?
Of course they do. Yeah,
really
of course they do. Yeah, Jill has every right. To come on and hammer you.
You have every right to get involved and then... not get involved.
We had a text here from Chris, Manchester United fan. He says, I don't understand why the Champions League factor gets such a strong mention. Newcastle can't hold on to their best players and they can't get anyone through the door. So a player signing a 5-year contract just because they're in the Champions League this 1 year obviously isn't that much of a factor. Clearly Cesco agrees. Otherwise he'd have signed for Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. He's waiting for Man United because he knows it's a much bigger club with a much bigger future upside. What do you make of Chris's text?
I mean, that remains to be seen, the future upside, doesn't it? Let's be honest. We don't know what the future is unless you've got a crystal ball. So for me, as I said, next year, Newcastle in the Champions League. Look, PSR rules are coming into effect as well now. And this is why Newcastle aren't getting the deals over the line and players are sometimes moving out of clubs because of these rules. And they need to change. And we've spoken off air about the PSR rules. They need to change and be updated because it's benefiting different type of clubs, to be honest, at the moment. But opinions aren't facts, and at the moment my opinion is Cesco should pick Newcastle and not Manchester United.
Okay, right, so we're not just talking about that this evening, of course, because there is a certain man who has left a certain club that Darren Ambrose supports. But where does this man go down among the Premier League greats?
Spurs have agreed a £22 million deal with Bayer Leverkusen for South Korean forward Heung-min Son.
Premier League goal.
An unbelievable career here, which he's done everything.
Makes space for a shot. Oh, what a way to bring a Premier League century of goals for Son Heung-min.
Spurs legend in every aspect. I think one of the best players ever played.
Son who's taken it down. He's through on goal. He's right foot it past it. It's a brilliant finish. Kane's delivery. Nobody now has combined for more goals than those two in the Premier League. It's glory. Son has lifted the trophy. And Spurs have won the 2025 Europa League.
Most difficult decision I made in my career. I decide to leave this club this summer. I came to North London as a kid, and leaving this club as a grown man.
Yeah, the Spurs captain Son Heung-min has announced that he'll be leaving the club after 10 years this summer. He scored 173 goals in 454 games for Spurs, with 127 of those in the Premier League. That is some record, by the way. It looks like the MLS is going to be his most likely destination this summer. Now, Darren, of course, you're a big Tottenham Hotspur fan. You know, firstly, how do you react to this news that Sonny's leaving?
It's extremely disappointing. Of course it is. He's a legend at the football club, and he always will be. He got his hands on the trophy last season as well. And at that point, I just felt this was going to be the moment that he says his goodbyes.
It's a great way to go out, isn't it?
It certainly is. And it's the right time, in my opinion. It's the right time to go out. I'm not saying been on the decline in the last couple of years, but he's not been as good as he has been over the previous years. So I do feel it's the right time, and he's chosen well. I didn't think it was going to happen, actually, because he's come back to pre-season and he's gone on the tour with the football club. I thought Thomas Frank might have convinced him to stay maybe and get another year. But he's made the decision, and that I think every Spurs fan will be gutted and sorry to see him go, but he'll go with everyone's blessings.
Yeah, I mean, also just an absolute icon in his own country as well, in South Korea. I mean, we're talking about one of the top 3 most famous people in that nation at the moment. I mean, some of his teammates have talked about when they go on tour there, it literally like being with a member of the Beatles in terms of the mania around him, and so, you know, the fact that you know, he's had that on his shoulders too that whole time, something he will have embraced, of course. Where for you though, Darren, over that kind of 10-year period, where for you do you think he ranks in terms of being a Premier League great?
See, it's difficult. I don't even think you can compare Premier League greats, all-time Premier League. I don't think you can do that.
Is he a Premier League legend? That word gets thrown around a lot. Is he a legend of the Premier League?
He's a legend at Tottenham. So does that make him a legend of the Premier League? Like I said, look, it's hard to say. It's hard to compare best Premier League winger in history. You can do best Premier League in this era, which is the era of the 10 years that he's been involved. And in that era, I'd say he's top 5 for sure. In the all-time era, look, you've got John Barnes, you've got Steve McManaman, you've got David Ginola, you've got Ryan Giggs, people like that. So it's hard to compare history. But eras, which is probably the last 10 years, well, obviously Salah's going to be number 1. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo that was brilliant. You've got Hazard as well. I'd have him in the top 5. I really would. A Premier League legend? Probably, yeah. Because the legends at football clubs turn into legends at the Premier League as well.
So you're having him in top 5 Premier League of all time, you're saying?
No. In this era of 10 years that he's been around. Because it's so difficult to compare. Look at the era we're in now with VAR, with the modern day technology, compared to the era when John Barnes was playing, a Steve McManaman with the tackles, the defenders that were up against them. You can't compare history. You can compare latest eras, which for me, with Son being the last 10 years, you can compare the last 10 years. And I think what I will say about Son, I think he would get in an underrated list. I think he's underrated by supporters of other clubs. I think he's extremely underrated, probably because he hasn't won a lot, and that Spurs get ridiculed for that. But it's not Son. That shouldn't define a player's career in terms of how good he was. He was at a football club that didn't win trophies.
So what players is he on par with? Do you know what I mean? Like, where are we putting him in terms of when we're talking about, you know, certain players? Are we putting him up there with the, you know, the
well, he's not ahead. He's not ahead of Salah. No, he's not ahead of Salah. Cristiano Ronaldo, no.
So he's not in the conversations with those players?
Not in the best. He's not in the best wide players. Look, as much as I love Son as a player, I know that he's not in the best. And look, Hazard is such a special talent. In terms of longevity, you'd say Son is over Hazard. But in terms of what Hazard could do on the ball and match winning, of course, he'd be up there in the top 3. I mean, Gareth Bale, look, what a player he was. Look what he went on to do. I just look at the longevity in 10 years that he's been at the football club. And you mentioned, 127 Premier League goals, predominantly playing from wide. I know he had the season where he was up front, or he filled in for Harry Kane. Was it 173 goals for Spurs? He has to be in the argument for being in the top 5 in the last 10 years for sure.
Favourite Sonny moment?
Probably lifting up the trophy. It has to be.
Really?
Lifting up the trophy, yeah.
Over any of his goals?
Just look, the goal against Burnley.
Won the Puskas Award.
Was it the goal against Burnley when he ran through the whole team? I thought that was magnificent. I see it the other day, actually, when he was announced that he was leaving, and it was like 8 players that he ended up, including the goalie, that he beat and slotted it past. what a goal that was. The curling goal against Arsenal as well. I think that was in COVID times as well. That was brilliant. But just to see him lift the trophy, where even if he didn't, I think we would have seen the last of Son in a Spurs shirt. So to see that happen, I just thought it was a remarkable occasion for him, knowing that it was probably the last thing he was going to do.
We'll carry this on in just a moment, but there has been a goal in the Scottish Premiership. Motherwell taking on Rangers. David Tanner.
And it's been coming for a while. It's Motherwell 1, Rangers 1. 87 minutes on the clock. And it's a debut goal, a league debut goal for Emmanuel Longello, who joined Motherwell from Birmingham in the summer. He started the move, a shot was blocked, and the rebound eventually found its way back to Longello, who cracked it under Jack Butland. A terrific finish, and what a climax to this game. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1, 2 minutes to go at Fir Park.
Thanks very much, David. Darren,
yes,
that's just got me thinking, you know that goal that Son scored against Burnley?
Yeah.
Right? Did you score a goal at Old Trafford once in the League Cup?
I can't remember. Someone tells me a lot about that.
Did you? It was like 40 yards out, something like that. Is that it?
People remind me about it. Palace fans remind me about it a lot.
Okay, yeah.
I scored one for Newcastle at Old Trafford as well.
By the way,
and at Cholton at the Valley.
If you haven't seen this goal, by the way, Darren Ambrose scored an absolute screamer for Palace against Manchester United.
Why you keep bringing it up?
He never brings it up. He never brings it up, honestly. So we always have to bring it up.
Trying to avoid this conversation.
He's so humble
it's
about
embarrassing.
it. He's so humble about it all the time. Right?
That's why I'm here.
But I've got a big question for you. Right, Sonny won the Puskas Award for his goal against Burnley.
Yeah.
Which goal was better?
Oh, mine all day long.
Would you actually say that?
No, Son's. So
really?
Picked up his own half, picked up in his box, beat everyone and tapped it in. Like, look,
that's a screamer from you, though,
it's
isn't
a
it?
different style of goal, isn't it? Mine was just hit and hope.
I can
just run and hope.
tell you don't believe that.
The word humble
I can tell you don't believe that. Oh, brilliant stuff. Get your calls in on Sonny, by the way, 03717 223344. Where does he rank among Premier League greats? You know, Darren saying that in his era he's in the top 5, but wouldn't put him in the top 5 of all time in the Premier League. You might think differently, especially if you are a Tottenham fan, and give us your favourite Sonny moments as well. You can text us on 81089 or of course give us a call. We'll take some calls on the Cesco situation in just a moment too. Some Manchester United fans wanting to have their say, some Liverpool fans too wanting to talk about the Isak saga too. And if you are coming home from a game in the EFL today, we'll take your call too. This is talkSPORT. What's this song that Spurs had for Sonny? It was a good song. I remember it was a good chant.
I can't remember.
Do you not remember?
No.
I bet you do remember. You just don't want to do it.
I don't remember.
'Cause you know I'm going to ask you to do it. It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Every time I've been there, I've not heard it.
Can't quite remember what it is. Oh, what legend is he? You never heard his chant?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
Why would I hear his chant? I don't want to hear his chant.
Might scored as well. I don't know.
I'm too concentrating on how good he is on the pitch to hear his chant.
If you're a Spurs fan,
you got to block that out, mate. When you get so much hate, you got to block the crowd out.
You start as a player, were you? No, I'm joking, of course. If you're a Spurs fan, you want to come on and do the Sonny chant because we can't remember it. Then you're more than welcome.
Is it Nice One Sonny? Is that one?
Oh, go on then. Do you remember it now?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Nice One Sonny.
You definitely do. Sing it.
No,
go on, sing it.
No.
You do remember it.
I've never sung a chant in my life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Nice one, Olly. Nice one, son.
There we go. We'll get more out of Darren Ambrose in just a moment. This is Kickoff on talkSPORT with me, Olly Clink, alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren Ambrose. We've been talking about the fact that Heung-min is leaving Tottenham Hotspur. We want your favourite Sonny moments. Give us a text on 81089. You can give us a call on that as well, 03717 223344. Where does he rank in terms of being a Premier League great as well? Is he a legend of the Premier League too? 10 years, 127 goals.
I need to other supporters to get involved in that, though. Supporters of other clubs, not just Spurs supporters. Is he a legend of the Premier League? Because Spurs supporters, of course, is going to say that. Because you're biased towards your players.
It's a tricky one, that.
I wonder how other supporters, did they fear him when they played him? You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to hear.
Absolutely. We've also been talking about the Isak saga. We've been talking about Benjamin Cesco, who looks like he's got Newcastle United or Manchester United to choose from. So which one should he pick? Dan is a Liverpool fan. Dan, I'm sure you want to talk about this Isak saga. What are your thoughts on it, mate?
Yeah, right, lads.
Hey, Dan. You all right, mate?
All right. Basically, I don't know what people are smoking. I don't know what was his name, Augusta, or whatever his name was before. Cesco is an Isak replacement. It's as simple as that. That's obvious. So the best news as a Liverpool fan we could have had today was that Newcastle going in for Cesco. Because as soon as that's done, Isak is getting over the line. There is no way Liverpool would play it as blatantly public as this and not get him.
Yeah,
that would just be embarrassing of a turn down.
Yeah, because at the moment the reports are that Liverpool basically aren't going to put another bid in. But I mean, even as a Newcastle fan, I know what you're saying there, Dan. Yeah. It just feels like it's the first domino that needs to fall, isn't it? Because Newcastle have said that until they get a replacement, they aren't thinking about selling Isak. And essentially, what you're saying is, if Cesco gets over the line, it's huge news for Liverpool, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Like, this the best news we could have had today was that Newcastle are going for Cesco. Because if they don't get Cesco, then I don't think it will happen. But as soon as they get in, that we will sign Isak. Because there's levels to this. Liverpool are a bigger club than Newcastle, and dog eats dog. Cesco is coming in to replace Isak, and Isak will go to Liverpool.
How much, Dan? How much would Liverpool go to, do you think?
I think they know they've got to pay probably 150. I think they know that. I think the bid yesterday was a try to negotiate it a little bit if they can. I think they know they've got to pay big, and then they've shown they're not afraid to pay that. This is really backing Arne Slot.
Yeah,
it will happen.
Dan, I was just going to jump in there because obviously we talked about that Cesco deal as well. I just want your thoughts as a Liverpool fan. We've had some Manchester United fans saying that Cesco should definitely pick Manchester United in this situation. What do you think? Would you go for Newcastle or Manchester United if you're Cesco?
No-brainer, you choose Newcastle. There is no doubt about it. It's not like Man United have had one bad season. They've had bad season after bad season after bad season. Then there's no sign that it's going to get any better. Whereas Newcastle have got the momentum behind them. And as Cesco, if Isak goes, you are the number one. You are number 9. True. And it's all on you. So, yeah, it's no-brainer to choose Newcastle.
There we go. Dan, thanks very much indeed. 03717 223344. Wonder how Jill ingested that call there from Dan. No-brainer that Cesco should go to the mighty Newcastle.
I will say nothing.
You stay quiet, Ambrose. You stay quiet. You've wound up enough people tonight, including me, of course. Right, it's full time between Motherwell and Rangers. David Tanner's been watching for talkSPORT.
Motherwell 1, Rangers 1, and the new managers of these clubs hugged each other pre-match. Yen Bertolascu and Russell Martin played together at Norwich, and the early indicators are that their new-look squads have embraced their similar attacking philosophies, though there is work to be done, clearly, for both sides defensively. Rangers' goal in 40 minutes was self-inflicted by the home side. Mistake 1 was a Motherwell goal kick. This was taken by fullback Paul McGinn. He played it sideways to Callum Ward. The goalie gave it straight back to him, who by this time, McGinn, he was under pressure of the Rangers press, and he shanked the ball behind. From the corner kick, mistake 2 was that James Tavernier was unmarked, and he had time to pick his spot with a header. After the break, Rangers started to fade, not surprisingly, after playing 90 minutes in the heat of Athens on Wednesday. Motherwell created chances, but it took them until 3 minutes from the 90 to equalise. Left-back Emmanuel Longello, on his league debut, saw his shot blocked, and when a follow-up effort was diverted back to him, he buried it. A terrific and well-deserved Motherwell equaliser. Rangers now face a massive Champions League qualifier against Victoria Pilsen on Tuesday. Motherwell 1, Rangers 1.
David, thank you very much indeed. A bit earlier, Darren, you were saying about this Cesco situation, you actually think that Olly Watkins should be the signing for Manchester United. You think it's a better fit because he's an experienced player. It's interesting because obviously a few Manchester United fans have said, actually, no, we'd rather have Cesco because it kind of shows that they've still got that pulling power, I think, for a lot of these fans. Harry's a Pompey fan, and he says people should remember Man United have ruined some young players. Garnacho, arguably Mason Mount, Højlund, Jadon Sancho, and they seem to lose their passion after they sign for Manchester United.
Højlund's a bit harsh. I think it's a little bit too early to judge Højlund. I think give him another year next season. But the argument will always stem to that people care about their football clubs, and that's why Jill phoned up. That's why that's why I'm getting stick on social media because of my opinion that he should be going elsewhere. But that's my opinion. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying don't go to Manchester United. I said if you had a choice between the both, you go Newcastle. That's total different thing altogether, by the way. It's a choice between two clubs. Go to one that's in the Champions League. And as you said to Jill when she was on the call, people underestimate the pull that the Champions League has in players' minds. 100%. I'm doubling down.
We obviously had Dan, the Liverpool fan, who said that Cesco should go to Newcastle over Manchester United. Said it was a no-brainer. Someone's got back in touch on 81089 saying, "OMG, you're asking a Liverpool fan, give me a break," with 3 angry face emojis. Who do you think texts that in?
I think Jill needs to go and have a sup. A sup. That's what Sean Dyche called it the other day, a sup, a little tipple. Go and enjoy your evening.
Little cup of tea,
enjoy your evening.
Don't
get so wound up over opinions.
This is talkSPORT. In just a moment, we're going to be taking more calls on this. If you're a Manchester United fan, you might agree with Darren on this, that you do want Olly Watkins through the door over Benjamin Cesco. I'd love to hear from some Manchester United fans who have that viewpoint too. This is talkSPORT. morning, this is Kick-Off on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink. I'm alongside the former Premier League midfielder Darren Ambrose. Just to keep you up to date on the cricket, day 3 ended with England 50 for 1. They need 324 runs to win with 9 wickets remaining. Zach Crawley got out from the penultimate ball of the day, gutting for him, and it is a huge task for England if they do want to go on and win this game and, of course, win the series 3-1. Big chance for India to tie this series. A reminder, by the way, from 8 o'clock this Sunday, you'll be able to hear the next episode of After the Lights Go Out on talkSPORT when Steve Harmison and Leon McKenzie are in conversation with the former Newcastle and Sunderland striker Michael Chopra. The interview centres around a serious gambling addiction which affected Michael throughout much of his footballing career. Here he explains how Roy Keane handled the situation when he signed for Sunderland in 2007.
My agent said to me, you need to go and speak to Roy, because if this starts affecting your performance at Sunderland, it's going to be damaging for you, and Roy won't be having any of it. So I spoke to Roy, and Roy was brilliant, really, really good. Took me in his office straight away, totally understand the situation. He literally called up Sport and Chants clinic while I was there in the office to try and get me the help I needed. Roy phoned Sport and Chants was fully booked, but they mentioned another place, which was the Capio Nightingale Hospital, which is next to the Landmark Hotel. So Roy straight away said to me, you're going to go in there next week. And I was like, well, what about football? I want to play football, Roy, and that sort of thing. He went, listen, you need to get the help.
A reminder, you can hear the full interview with Michael Chopra in After the Lights Go Out tomorrow from 8 o'clock. All the episodes from the current series of the programme are available now from all podcast providers, including those featuring Cole Frampton, James Haskell and Leanne Sanderson. We've had a text through on this Manchester United debate from Steve. He says, forgetting Manchester United, both Newcastle and Spurs will have a horror reality check next season. They'll be humbled in the Champions League. They'll be so distracted they'll be outside the top 6. So if you have a longer-term strategic view of things, then maybe neither are that attractive. That's from Steve, who's a Northampton fan. Just because Northampton lost today, Steve, giving it to Darren Ambrose.
Got Steve.
Newcastle legend in charge of Northampton, by the way. Kevin Nolan, talkSPORT's very own.
Yeah, always struggled today, didn't he?
Always get a bit nervous when I see him in the office.
Yeah, I heard when he was last in the show. Who was he with? He was on the show with someone, and you come in for a handover, and you,
hi, Kevin.
You panicked a little bit. Sam was like, "What's the matter with you?"
Legend. Scored a hat trick in a time weird derby.
Yeah, brilliant. Good player.
Great.
Good player.
Good player. Gotta be. Now, we're going to take some more calls from Manchester United fans in just a moment, but I wanted to talk to you about this, Darren. Birmingham City are the latest club to be the subject of a fly-on-the-wall Amazon Prime documentary. You might have seen this. Cameras are following their takeover, and a lot of cameras following the NFL legend Tom Brady. It documents their relegation to League One after a terrible spell under Wayne Rooney. Tom Brady spoke to talkSPORT's Troy Deeney, who's a Blue Nose himself, earlier this week ahead of the new EFL season, and Brady had this to say on Wayne Rooney's tenure as manager and what's different to the last time they were in the Championship.
Well, at different times, you always want to give people opportunities to succeed. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Wayne and what he accomplished. He's one of the greatest players that's ever been on a pitch. And at the same time, I have very high expectations for what leadership looks like. And I really felt like in the time that I had that, we have to give everything we can to the players in terms of our time and energy and our commitment to seeing them succeed. And we found that in Chris in our second season, who's done an incredible job as manager. He's been a great leader for the organization. And I'm very excited to see how he continues to build on what he's already accomplished last season going into the new year, because the reality is this year is very different. And 2 years ago was very different from last year. This year is going to be very different from last year. And the work to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish is all about what you're doing today, not about what you did 2 years ago or 5 years ago. It's about what you do today and moving forward every single day.
Yeah, Tom Brady there talking about the high expectations that he has. And there's a clip that's doing the rounds at the moment from the documentary where he steps into a meeting that Wayne Rooney is running, and Rooney, welcomes him in, and they go through some of the tactics ahead one of their games, and then there's a shot of Tom Brady in the car afterwards, and he starts to question the work ethic of Rooney. Now, of course, as fans, if we're watching these docs, it's the kind of spice, it's the kind of moment that you do want to get out of these documentaries. I feel like sometimes they're a bit sanitised, and you don't really see the warts and all that you want to see.
Yeah.
But what do you make of a comment like that, and the fact that it's made its way into that documentary?
Yeah, it didn't sit right for me, actually, when I see it. I've only seen the clip. Obviously, I've not seen the full documentary. And it's the first time I've seen that clip there with Troy Deeney as well and Tom Brady talking about Wayne Rooney's career. But in the actual clip that is going around, it just seemed like he didn't even know who Wayne Rooney was, the way he questioned his work ethic. And I mean, this is the guy, 120 caps for England, like probably one of, if not the best player England have ever produced. Every time he set foot on the pitch, he gave everything that he had, and no one could ever question his commitment. You can question his tactical approach, of course. It just didn't sit right. Tom Brady walked into the meeting a little bit late, and what Wayne said in terms of, do you want to do it? It was a bit tongue-in-cheek. It was a bit of a joke, and I don't think it came across like that. And I don't know what you felt. I just felt it just seemed like it was unnecessary to question his work ethic instead of just his tactical approach.
Yeah, I think the first thing I thought when I saw it is, obviously after this, Rooney went off to Plymouth. Another difficult job. Yeah. Really difficult job, and lost that one too. But the first thing I thought is, well, that's not a great advert for Rooney, this, is it?
No.
And that's the thing. We don't really know the full extent. Why was Brady saying that? Why was he saying that he didn't have a good work ethic? From the meeting, seems like he knew what he was talking about. I just felt that it was a strange thing to include, as spicy as it is. Like I say, it's a strange thing to include. And if you're Wayne Rooney, you're fuming, aren't you? You must be fuming. Because that's really, I think it's really harmful to his chances of getting another job in the future.
Again, look, we know better than anyone how things can be portrayed and clipped up to make it look really bad and it make you want to watch the documentary. As you said, we've got to be careful because we haven't seen the full clip and why that was said and what the conversation was before that. We've just seen the clip that's going around. Until we see the full extent of what was said and why, we can't really judge. And look, Wayne Rooney would see that clip unless he's seen the full clip, and it would annoy him. But I mean, Tom Brady's one of the best sportsperson ever lived. So it's hard to come back and say anything to a guy like that. And I don't think Wayne Rooney will. I don't think you'll hear a retaliation from him. Didn't work out at Birmingham, of course, and that happens in football. Do I think he's done it as a manager? I think he's got a real cushy job as a pundit. I think he articulates himself really well as a pundit as well. I like listening to him. He's like we said, the knowledge of the game because of what he's done in the game is it can't be questioned. It's almost second to none in terms of what he's achieved. So do I see him in a management role? Not in the near future, I don't. But I don't think this will be the end that we see him in the dugout.
Yeah, there's another clip that's doing the rounds as well of Tom Brady. It must be after the EFL Trophy final, which I was actually at for talkSPORT, and Peterborough were fantastic that day. It was such an amazing win. I mean, Blues were obviously a massive favourite for that, and they got promotion. They still had a fantastic season, etc. But there were strange scenes even at the end of that game where I think Tom Wagner and Brady himself were kind of giving a team talk whilst Peterborough were waiting to go up and lift the trophy. It was all a bit strange. It all seemed like it was for the cameras and stuff like that. And then this clip that's doing the round, Brady's in the car and it's foul language. I can't repeat it fully on air, but he essentially says, Peterborough, you can stay in League One for the rest of your time whilst we move up the league. Seems a bit bitter. About losing that trophy.
What it shows you is that competitive edge has not left Tom Brady. He's a winner and he wants to win in whatever sport he's playing. I'm sure if he's playing paddle or table tennis or he's exactly the same. And fair play. If that's your mentality, that's the way it is. Just that clip, without seeing the full extent of the video, just didn't sit right with me, to be honest.
It'll be off Adrian Durham's Christmas card list, that's for sure. As a big posh fan, I'd love to see Adrian come back on that, by the way.
He will definitely retaliate, Adrian.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah. Adrian against Tom Brady. It's the battle you never thought you'd see.
It's about what everyone wants to see.
But everyone wants, live on talkSPORT. Now, let's take some more calls from Manchester United fans. We've been talking about Benjamin Cesco, who seems to have this choice, Newcastle United or Manchester United. Spencer is a Manchester United fan. Spencer, another of the shouts that Darren made is the fact that Ollie Watkins is very closely linked to Manchester United. If you're choosing at the moment, are you going for Watkins or Cesco?
Yeah, well, hello lads, firstly. And secondly, I'd just like to say well done, Darren, for bigging up Rooney there. Tom Brady ain't got a clue. He plays a game that is called football, but they throw it, so who cares? Right, let's get on to the real matter. So I believe Watkins should have been a United player a couple of years ago, because that's the kind of thing United used to do. We used to let everyone else sign the players. We'd watch them for a couple of seasons. We've done it numerous times. Berbatov, Saha, sorry. Like, I could just name loads. But we haven't done that. The last 10 years, I think we've only signed a few players from the teams in our league, and we've spent outrageous money across the globe, paying agents millions and millions. We need Ollie Watkins, not because of what he's going to show anyone, just because he's proven, and we need stability. Right, I personally don't think Liverpool are going to win the league. I think Man City will win the league. I think Liverpool might even struggle getting the top 4 this year.
Wow. Why do you think that, Spence?
Because I think Chelsea would be so much stronger. I think Arsenal are going to be there or thereabouts. And then you've got all the other teams playing for that last 4th spot.
Oh, but Liverpool's squad, though,
when I play the Champions League, you get 5 places, so they're going to get the Champions League. But, you know, I think top 4 this year. I think the league's going to be very good this year. I think last year was a bit dead, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we hope so, don't we? We hope it's better.
Yeah, well, listen, lads, it can't be any worse from a Man United point of view. So
it can.
Yeah, you don't want it to, but it can. And I'm in the same boat with Spurs. It can get worse. It's relegation for us if it gets worse.
Yeah, and I was just going to say on that point with Sonny. So obviously, I wouldn't say Son's a legend. I'd say he's a Premier League icon.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout.
You know, because he's not like. When I say legend, like for me, that's Cantona, Henry, Drogba. You know, like he's in the 100 club, but he's also from that part of the world where he's just a massive star. Like he is the icon. So
I know it's not the telltale all, Spence, but do you think he'd make it into the Premier League Hall of Fame eventually?
Yeah, of course. Listen, but like you said, he's a bit like yourself. He's very underrated. You was a very good player. I used to see you all the time. I used to love watching you at Charlton.
Thank you very much.
At Charlton. You know what I mean? You used to score some bangers. So, so big up Olly on that one at the beginning. Yeah, that one against United.
Oh, great stuff. Spence, thanks for your call, mate. 03717223344. How much did you send, Spencer? 20 quid?
Yeah.
Nice.
I spent all my fee. Got my fee to get Spence on.
Oh, I love that. Great call there from Spence. Makes a good point. I love that shout that Sonny is an icon.
Yes, that is a good shout. That is a good shout.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I think he'll make it eventually into the Premier League Hall of Fame. Does that make him a legend? Probably not. It makes him he's a legend at our club. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah. There's a text here from Harry, by the way, on 81089, who says, I'd rather go for Watkins than Cesco because we haven't had luck getting strikers from on the continent. It's true. It's true. And it's what Spencer said there, proven strikers. I just feel that...
It is true. When is the last time that they bought a proven player as opposed to going abroad and spending an awful lot of money on different players that are unproven in the Premier League? You know what you're getting with Ollie Watkins.
Absolutely. Right. Plenty more to come between now and 8 o'clock when Fight Night take over. We'll carry on our chat about Manchester United and Benjamin Sesko and which club he should choose. We'll chat about the Isak saga too. And we'll round up your favourite Sonny moments as well. Give us a text on that on 81089. This is talkSPORT. Good evening, this is Kickoff on talkSPORT with me, Olly, Clink. I'm alongside the former Premier League midfielder, Darren Ambrose. Remember, you've only got a few days left now to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality, and we're chucking in that 10 grand, by the way, completely tax-free. But it all ends on Monday, so here's how to enter. You haven't got long. 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 o'clock and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can post your name and number to Coldplay Competition PO Box 3190 Colchester CO2 8GP to arrive by 5 o'clock on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK station. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Good luck.
All right. Have a breath.
Yeah. Wow. Got to calm down. Got to have a cup of tea after all that. Right, following us from 8 o'clock, Gareth A. Davies brings you Fight Night, and the man himself, with a glorious tan, I might add, Gareth, joins us in the studio right now. What you got coming up, Gareth?
Well, I'm just hoping I'm not having to read out that.
That'll be the end of the show, then, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I thought your breath was phenomenally controlled just then. You're not even out of breath. One of the longest reads I've ever known. I don't know how many times I've got to read that out between 8 and 11. I've got Sam Jones, the boxing agent, joining me tonight. He's got more opinions than myself, Spencer Oliver, and Simon Jordan put together.
Wow.
So there'll be a lot of wild debate tonight. Sam's in for 3 hours with me. Dave Allen joins us on the phone. He's about to fight Arslanbek Makhmudov, probably the toughest fight of his career, I'd say, right now, but he's up for it. We've got Tyler Goodjohn in for half an hour, the bare knuckle boxer who's fighting Paulie Malignaggi in Bristol in September. That's live on talkSPORT. And a host of other things to discuss, namely Moses Townman and Dillian White coming up, which I know you're both interested in. Should AJ be fighting Tony Yoka or Jake Paul? There's so many things to discuss in boxing.
Yeah, look, Moses Atoma, we had him in. I had him in the studio. Me and Madge does a lot of work in Saudi, doesn't he? When the boxing shows are on, so he got him in, and it was a while ago. It was 4 or 5 fights ago. And the confidence oozing out of that kid essentially was incredible. Is he the real deal? Is he the next real deal? It's a tough test, Dillian White, of course. He'll come to fight. Is he the next one that we're going to see for a long time?
I think we're watching, to go back in your time, I think we're watching someone who is almost like a Wayne. Look, you look like Wayne Rooney. You played around the same time as me.
I complimented your tan when you came in.
I'm a young Wayne Rooney. I'm talking about, when Wayne Rooney came on the scene, he was, 17, 16, 17, playing for England, fearless, going. You've just got that tenacity, physical tenacity.
So he brought it back.
Olly,
he saved it. He saved it.
It's saved, Gareth.
I meant it as a compliment, sir. I was talking about your physical robustness.
Did you?
I want to get in an argument with Gareth. He knows so many boxers.
You played at the same time as Wayne Rooney.
But when he played, he came forward, he took the ball forward and he just scored, didn't he?
Yes.
And I think Moses Townma is that kind of character. He's fearless, he's nerveless, he's got ice in his veins. He hasn't taken a clatter yet. And that's what we're going to see in Riyadh on August the 16th. We're going to be out there for talk.
Is that when we know then? Once
he
takes a clatter?
He may not take a clout from. He may not take that big left hook from Dillian White. He may be too quick. I think he will be. I think, with all due respect to Dillian, who I've known a long time and is a servant of the heavyweight division for a long time, I think Mo's is going to be too young, too quick, too left-handed, and I think he'll do the job. We may not know until he gets to the very, very top, but he could be fighting Joseph Parker soon, Ajit Kabayel, maybe the end of an Usyk career, but we are looking at a potential superstar in the sport.
It's exciting.
Gareth, we can't wait for it. I was going to listen, but
I love Wayne Rooney.
It's a great looking man as well. Absolutely. Gareth, thank you very much indeed, mate.
Okay.
See you later. Get out. Go on, get out. I've had enough of you.
Excellent. Excellent.
Great stuff. You can listen to Gareth A. Davies. That sounds like a brilliant show, doesn't it? From 8 o'clock. And so much to debate there. I mean, and also we didn't even touch there on the AJ.
No, we didn't.
That's ridiculous. Isn't it?
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. Look, for me, as an armchair support, I do love my boxing, but there's safety issues involved here. And look, Jake Paul is very clever, and I like what he's brought to boxing, and he's brought a whole new audience. Look, he's got talent, he's got skills. Coming up against AJ, I just think that could end really badbadly.
Yes,
and I hope it doesn't. I really do. And Moses Atoma, mate, honestly, we had him in the studio, and it was I think he was 18 or something like that. And I did ask him, because I was so intrigued of the mentality of a boxer. And I said about Tyson Fury and AJ at the time, and Usyk, do you want to fight them? And how do you feel you do? And of course, he's oozing confidence. But he said, I don't think I'll ever fight them, because we're at different ends of our careers. We're different eras. Does he think he's going to be a world champion? Yeah, he does. And I do as well. Really talented. I really like him.
Yeah, I see what you're doing here, by the way, Darren Ambrose.
What?
You're trying to get as much boxing
and
chat
then
in
Joseph
as you can.
Parker.
Because you know that I'm going to ask you. We've got, a couple of minutes left, right? For your Premier League predictions.
Yeah,
only 2 weeks away, so we're going to have to do them pretty rapid.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
No reasons, just do it.
Just do it. Just
Okay.
go for it.
Title winner?
Right? Title winner, go.
Liverpool.
Okay. Why? Quickly.
Just the signings they've made, and look, if they get Isak over the line, I think that is to cement it as the icing on the cake. But at the moment, I think they've got enough, full of confidence, and they'll be better than last season.
Don't agree with our caller guy earlier, the Newcastle fan says we're going to win the league?
No, I don't. And guy won't like the prediction, because I don't think Newcastle will be in the top 4 either.
Oh, cheers, mate. Top 4.
Well, I can't come on last time and say about the top 4 not changing for a few good years and then not say the top 4. I think it'll be Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Okay, Arsenal in third.
Or maybe Chelsea, Arsenal.
Surprise package.
Tottenham. Well, that can count, can't it? They come 17th
It's just
last
amazing
year.
that's what they'll be.
They're the surprise package. They're going to go far in the Champions League, and I think they might finish 5th.
5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I like Thomas Frank. It's good appointment, I think. Biggest disappointment?
This is more out of hope, really. Nottingham Forest. I think they've upset my team, Spurs, and they've upset my favourite team I played for, Palace. So, hopefully they disappoint us this season. I don't think they will.
Got a decent player in Morgan Gibbs-White, haven't they?
Brilliant he is.
Well, there we go.
No ambition.
Okay, first manager sacked.
Oh, I hate this one, but look, this is in the question. It's our job. I think Graham Potter might be the first manager sacked. Yeah, I just think if West Ham don't get off to a good start, I was there last season, and I'm not going to use the word toxic, but the fans can turn, and I just feel that the owners will make the call relatively quickly. If they start well, so be it. But I think I have to say one. I'll say Graham Potter.
These ones nice and quick. Signing of the season.
Florian Wirtz.
Florian Wirtz, okay. Even if it is Alexander Isak who joins.
I still think Florian Wirtz.
I think it'll be Benjamin Sesko for Newcastle.
Yeah, good shout.
And then finally, bottom 3, relegation.
I think the 3 that come up will go down
again.
Yeah, I do.
A lot of signings for Sunderland, to be fair to them.
Yeah, I just think Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds. Look, this is such early predictions, and this could really come back to haunt me. People will be saying, ask Grok. Ask Grok to tell me again in July.
Last one. Where did Manchester United finish?
8th.
Jill, just switch off your radio at this point. I mean,
8th.
He's wound you up all night.
It could be Europa Conference.
Darren, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Mate. Loved it again.
It's been great fun. And you've just heard there from Gareth A. Davies. What a show we have coming up next. It's Fight Night.